Choice is the source of all creation. We choose and we create something. We have this weird point of view that things have been chosen for us. It's destined, it's destiny, it's karma, it's anything except choice. But the reality is every choice we've made has created what we live today. And if you change what you choose, what you have for tomorrow is different and greater and more amazing.
There's an upwelling of energy and awareness from the earth itself about all of us that are seeking something different, and the incredible contribution we are that hasn't been acknowledged. We haven't been acknowledging it. We haven't been looking for it in ourselves. We haven't been willing to realize that we are a gift in some way that we don't even understand. And because it makes no sense, we end up invalidating it or never even seeing it.
It is hard to believe, but I have been able to communicate telepathically since I was born. Gee. And we didn't know, Glen. We did not know. How sad was that? But great now, Mum. I am so happy for access coming into my world through Delany, magical Delany.
So the thing that's most amazing about the bars to me is the fact that, what should be possible becomes possible. What is impossible, suddenly the reason for it being impossible changes or goes away, and then it becomes possible. There's this amazing gift that the bars are, that accesses parts of us that nobody's ever acknowledged, including us, and few people ever see, including us. And what occurs is the doors open to a greater reality than what we think is actually so.
One of the wonderful things about Barras is, like, for Glen, has been like, there are times where he's almost like at war with his body, and there's a physical fight going on, and I don't even have to actually run his bars by putting my hands on his head. I can actually just energetically ignite those points, and that gives him peace with his body. you know, a lot of my work has been with people with so-called disabilities, and I definitely have some real gifts in relation to communication with people, you know, who have autism and that line of disability. So communication without words has been, you know, this amazing journey for me. And the discovery that spoken word is not my first language, and that in fact energy is. Because I'm willing to be a space that allows this communication to actually be, and I don't project at him constantly, and what I discover is that our projections, because it's the same with us, and it highlights to a great degree how we all limit ourselves, because they're limited by the projections that we put on them. And so when you can be a space that's no judgment, and they can all of a sudden be eating spaghetti bolognese when they're not supposed to like spaghetti bolognese, and give me another red wine, thank you, and hey, I loved that movie when they're not supposed to love that movie, or, you know, like all of those things. And it really highlighted to me, wow, that's exactly what's happening with all of us. And with them, you can see it really strongly, because their lives are limited by often, you know, they don't have the physical capability to move through the world on their own. They actually need support. They need physical support. They need, you know, support to just bathe themselves, to feed themselves, and all of that. So that is kind of that intense. It seems to intensify it. So you really do see, oh my God, our projections are actually impacting on this person really dramatically. And then when you're willing to look at it for you, it's like, oh my God, I have been limiting myself from the projections. The bars and the tools and processing that Access has brought to my life has actually allowed me to receive myself in a way that I just never dreamed was possible, to actually like myself, to actually care about myself. And that has generated a whole different way of living and being in the world. Because there's an authenticity and a simplicity to this that words, spoken words, don't often find the mark.
We could measure things that we couldn't measure 5 years ago. And that's the difference, because it's not a lack of understanding the science, it's not a lack of people wanting to do the science, it's been the technology. And now technology is increasing to the point, you know, just the stuff we do is moving so fast, it's very hard to keep up with it. And so it's going to continue that way. It's technology that is the new currency. So in our clinic, we do brain mapping and work with people who have ADD, anxiety, depression. We work with professional athletes in improving performance there. We also work with veterans that have post-traumatic stress, and professional athletes who have had head injuries. And I guess this is where it's all been leading towards what we're doing with the Access Consciousness group. people would have these amazing experiences. This is where the fascination with the bars came in. One is the giver and one is the receiver, and the giver is running the bars. So there are 32 locations on the head that they use what I would describe as acupressure. So they put very light pressure on your head, and what it does is it opens up energy and allowing it to flow. So when we're measuring things like with the gas discharge visualization, one of the things we're able to look at is chakra alignment centers in our body, and that's what these chakras are. So we have these different centers that have electromagnetic energy in these meridians. So they generate energy at different locations through the body. What we do is we will take a pre and post brain map, and we have some very high-tech headgear. During the bars session, we have the giver wearing this headgear and exercising the bars. We also have the Sputnik in the room measuring the changes in energy. So we're looking at this relationship between electromagnetics and biophotonic energy and being able to show the changes in that. And so what we're actually measuring empirically is the changes in thoughts, emotions, and stress. People who we've measured who have remediated some of the effects of Parkinson's disease. We've had an individual who had a brain tumor and then after the event went to the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston to have his scan done, and they could find no trace of the tumor. People who have gotten rid of the effects of Hashimoto's disease. That's really where we're at, is learning how to utilize the energy, not only the energy around us, the energy within our body, to harness that, to refine it, to utilize it in ways of, because really all disease is nothing more than a dysregulation of the energies of the body. It's that simple. Medicine has its place, pharmaceuticals have their place in helping us do that. But really, when you get down to it, it's about helping people learn how to realign the energies or having a facilitator. The magic is not within the facilitator. They're just a person who facilitates the process of realigning the energy or getting the energy to flow in ways that it needs to. And then the body can heal itself.
That's why I keep doing what I do. I work 12 hours a day, 28 days a month. Why? Because I want to get the world to change. Because unfortunately, from my perspective, unless we change the world rather dynamically, we're not going to have a planet to live on. And consciousness changes all kinds of things. More consciousness, more possibility. More possibility, more choice. More choice, more question. More question, more contribution from the world, the universe. That's how I see it. And we have to learn to live with the universe in the question of possibility rather than the conclusion of what we want it to be and how we want it to look. It's like I'm always looking from, okay, so what else is possible? What else can we create here? What else have we not been able to perceive, know, be, or receive? Because that's what we do as infinite beings. Perceive, know, be, and receive. What are we aware of constantly that we act like we have no awareness of? It's like you walk into a room where somebody's angry, you always know somebody's angry, and then you get all weird and start backing off and trying not to say anything or whatever. And it's like, that doesn't create, because you've come to the conclusion and the decision and the judgment and the computation that that anger is something you can't change. Reality is, you can change anything if you live in question. But you gotta live in the question of it and ask the questions that give you the awareness. Not come to the conclusion about, oh, this is the way it is. When we decide this is the way it is, guess what? Nothing else can change. Bars are 32 different points on the head, and it's like a computer bank of all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, attitudes, and considerations you've ever had in any lifetime. They get stored in there. And when you clean them by running the bars, what happens is that deletes the file on that, and suddenly you're different. Your whole life can change. You can change physically, mentally, emotionally, all kinds of different ways. Do I know what's going to be? No, only you do. And even you don't know what it's going to be, but you change. And I watch people have these 32 different points run and watch them get up off the table different. And they never go back to being who they used to be. And that's the thing I love most about it, is nobody gets to go back to where they used to be. They only can move forward into what else they can be. And it's an amazing gift to give the world, but it's an amazing gift to give someone. For them to have that place where they could start to create their lives. And the one thing it does is it opens the door to receiving everything you actually know. And that, to me, is a gift that I've not found anywhere else on anything else I've ever done. If everybody in the world could be present as themselves and never judge themselves, this would be a world worth living in. And that's what I want to create.
One of the great gifts of the bars is actually giving people that space of where they can explore and expand their capacities with non-verbal communication. That space that comes in that so many of us are living with all the time. The bars actually, as we know, creates that space where that doesn't have to be. And so that then allows people like Glen to have more ease and be able to contribute more to people and communication in a different way. Like when Pam and Glen in February did their first bars class, and it was so easy for him to be in that space, and he wasn't grinding his teeth, and he wasn't humming the whole time, and having to block out. It was much easier to just be in that space because people's heads are. And even as we're here now, you know, like he's really grateful that you came to a space in nature, as much for him, but for everybody else, for the whole team, because it allows that space to be much easier. And the team is very focused on what they're doing. And so there isn't continual extraneous crap going. So that makes it easier for him to actually be here and to not have to be in battle with that. So that space that is created with the bars is one of the greatest gifts to the planet in so many areas, and certainly in relation to communication beyond words. It's a really, you know, well, for both of us have the point of view, or is it an awareness, that, you know, this is the thing that's going to actually advance that capacity with great speed. And question. So,
is he speaking to
yes.
you telepathically?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a society, we will spend billions of dollars seeking happiness and billions of dollars trying to find peace, and yet if you're willing to receive it, people that have been, you know, locked away because of their difference, because they're considered disabled or intellectually handicapped or whatever, you know, whatever the label is, what they can contribute to you and what what you can contribute to them is astounding. And there is a sense of joy that can be generated here that a lot of us are seeking, and yet it's right here and we won't receive it. And we won't actually take the time to actually be with people that are different and receive that.
This really is a paradigm shift, that people have to shift away from what they know to something different and talk about, you know, the laws of the universe and the quantum physics of things. And the law in physics basically says that energy that is vibrating, a thought, wanted or unwanted, has a particular vibration. And when other thoughts that are like that come together, it can now affect particle energy. So that's what creates our reality.
What I began to discover is every time you ask a question, the universe opens a door to a greater possibility. When you come to conclusion, it closes all the doors that don't match it, your conclusion. So it's like you literally cut off so much awareness by this willingness or necessity to come to conclusion or decision or judgment or computation, where if you ask the question, the universe goes, sure, here's what you want to know.
It's never worried me much sitting in the corner. I have a big universe to play in. What's really great though is how much fun it is to be a part of the party and not to be sitting in the corner anymore. It's gone beyond the words now.